What is up, homies? My name is Felix again today, and I am here bringing another video for my LMMS people. I decided to try something a little different today. I decided to try and show you guys how to make a type beat, and the beat that I'm going to be showing you guys how to make today is a Killval or Rocstaryoshi kind of type beat, or you could maybe say Tommy Ice too, because they all have that one song that uses that one Nick Mirror loop. But yeah, basically today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a beat like that. Before we get into it, I just want to say follow my Instagram, my SoundCloud if you wish to do so, and I have a playlist of songs I've produced down in the description below, YouTube, Apple Music, Spotify, SoundCloud, blah 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 blah. And now let's get into the video. So the first thing that I'm going to do is put my tempo to anywhere between like 82 to like 92. So I'm going to put it like right at 87. And now for the instrument part of this, I would probably go with a harp or a piano. So I'm going to bring in a harp for this one. Okay, so I brought in Sonatino Orchestra, the trusty old plugin, and now I'm going to put on harp. And Sonatino Orchestra's harp is actually really good. I like how it sounds a lot. So we're going to use that for this one. And then also I might add like a piano or a couple other sounds as I go along. But for now, I think this is good. And I think the other thing that I want to do is add this Redtron plugin. And this might add a good, effect as well. Okay, so now I'm going to pick a few drums. And the drums, I'm just going to go with some pretty basic stuff. Nothing too crazy, nothing too rare and exciting. Okay, so these are the drums I have chosen. They're pretty standard, pretty simple. And now for this one, I'm going to hold off on the drums, and I'm going to start with this harp, because this I want to be kind of the driving force of this beat. So basically I am going to skip through me making the melody, but I do have a video out on making melodies, so if you guys want to check that out, that'll be in the description below. But for this one, just know that you want this in a minor key for sure, and after I make the melody, I'll show you a couple other things that you can do as well. Okay, so basically I just finished this part of the melody. As usual, I'm going to copy this over and make a variation on this side, but for now, this is how it sounds. And basically what I did was I added these little notes here up above this little top melody, and I added kind of a little bit of some like pauses here, some separation between the notes or whatever, and then I added these bass notes down here. And yeah, now I'm gonna get into making the second part. Okay, so basically I just finished with the second part of the melody, and this is how the whole thing is gonna sound. So yeah, I think this sounds pretty decent so far. What I'm going to do now is pitch it up or down as I please to make it sound better. Okay, so basically I changed the melody into the key of G minor, and now it's going to sound like this. So yeah, I think that sounds good. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into here, and I'm going to choose a sound that I want to use. It might be kind of like a flute, I'm thinking, but we're going to see. Alright, so essentially I just made this little flute pattern, and it sounds like this now all together. So yeah, I think that sounds pretty decent, and now I'm going to add one more plugin, which is called Creepy Piano. And for those of you who don't know, all three of these plugins are free to download plugins. You can find all of them on VST for free, which is a super good website to find free plugins. But I'm going to pick a piano sound, and I'm going to copy this and make it exactly the same. And I think that one right there sounds good, actually. Now I'm going to play this together and see how it sounds. So yeah, that sounds decent. I like how that is sounding. Now I'm going to do the drums, and how I'm going to do the drums is, you know, the typical way. Copy the 808 pattern down here with Control and C. X out of this, go into here, boom, Control V. And now that we've copied this into here, I'm going to go in here and get rid of the clicking noise by going like this and turn up the attack just a little bit. And now that shouldn't click anymore, hopefully. Now I'm going to adjust these 808s. And one thing I forgot to do is tune my 808, so we're going to go in here, put this at C because I know this is note here is at C. And now with the 808 it should sound like this. Actually, these need to be pitched up. There we go, that sounds much better. And obviously it cuts off because this is 2 bars shorter. And I'm going to go copy and create a new bass line and paste just so that this can loop and I can listen to it. And I'm going to do clear all notes. And now I'm going to work on the drums. And for some of you it might be better to work on the drums while you're listening to the melody, but I kind of know how it sounds, so I can, you know, make it based off of how I memorized it in my head. So as you can see, I put the hi-hats in every single one, and then I put the claps here on every single one, and I have the 808 pattern, so it's going to sound like this now. And now I'm going to do this percussion like this, and like this here, and it should sound like this. So yeah, that sounds good. Now I'm going to do this hi-hat, kind of like this, I think. So yeah, I think this sounds good, and now I'm going to do the kick, which is pretty easy. So yeah, this is just a pretty easy, pretty nice and quick drum pattern, but you don't need anything too complicated as far as the drums go when you have a kind of more complex and more melodic, you know, melody. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a couple things in the mixer to make this sound better and kind of clean it up a little bit. One thing that I'm going to do is assign all of these to a different effects track. So I'm going to go like this and make 3 of them. This one's going to go in 1. This one will go in 2. And then the flute's going to go in 3. And I'm going to rename these so that I know. Okay, so now that these are renamed, I can X out of these. And I can go in here and EQ out the low end of a lot of these. So I'm going to use the EQ. And if you guys want to know how to do this, I actually made a video on how to use EQ and effects and all that stuff. So you guys can go check that out if you would wish to do that. Okay, so now that I have the low end EQ'd out of the harp, I'm going to do the exact same thing for the piano over in here. Okay, so this piano did not have a lot of low end frequencies, so I just kind of put a bandpass filter on it, which cuts out the high end and the low end. Now I'm going to kind of do the same thing with this flute, but I think I'll be cutting out a lot more high end. Okay, so the EQ that I put onto the flute kind of sounds a little bit like this, and now altogether they should sound like this. And the one last thing I'm going to do is put some reverb on this flute because I think it needs it. And now with the reverb, it should all sound like this. So yeah, that sounds pretty good, I think. And the next thing, and probably the last thing I'm going to do before I lay out the beat, is just sidechain the kick and the 808 together so they don't sound so muddy and disgusting. And I think I might actually change this kick real quick, so I'm going to look through my sounds to see if I can find a better kick. Okay, so I did end up changing this kick right here to this Molly Rock kick, but one thing that I'm actually going to do is I'm going to, instead of sidechaining, because it's going to take a lot of extra work, and I don't really want to do a lot of extra work right now, is I'm going to go to the 808 thing here, and then I'm going to go into the envelope, and then I'm going to go like this. And it's not going to sound better yet, but now it sounds good. Now basically what I did was I turned up the attack a lot so that the kick has space, to slap pretty hard, and the 808 is not going to sound, crispy and disgusting with it. So yeah, I think that sounds pretty decent, at least for the purposes, the general purposes that we have here today. And now the next thing and last thing I'm going to do is go into the mixer again and just add a hard limiter. And I'm also going to delete these to remove, any confusion that there might be. And basically the hard limiter on the master doesn't really do too much, but it just makes sure nothing goes above 0 dB. But I think LMMS kind of compresses everything anyways, so I'm not totally sure how it works, but I like to do it just in case. But yeah, now basically what I'm going to do, we're pretty much done. I'm going to separate out all of these, all the tracks into their own beat and bassline editor, and then I'm going to lay out the beat and we'll be done. Okay, so before this little time-lapse plays, I just want to say that for some reason, unbeknownst to me, LMMS decided to take everything that I had worked on and take away the 2 bars that I had made for all the drums. So basically I had to go in and redo all of the drums again. So for any of you watching this and wondering what's going on in the fast-forwarded part, that's what's happening. So yeah. Okay, so now that I've separated all these into their own beat and bassline editors and organized them, named them and everything, I'm going to lay out the beat and then we're going to be done. Alright, so now I have the beat laid out. Basically what I did was I had the harp start out, and then I had some of the drums come in, and then I have this first part where everything's playing, cut out the flute, cut out the percussion, cut out the open hi-hat, and then here I just cut out the open hi-hat and took out the harp, and then I just kind of copied the whole thing over, and then that's pretty much the beat. So yeah, basically I hope you guys enjoyed watching. I had fun making this beat. I thought it turned out pretty good. Hopefully you guys will now be able to make all your own, Rocstaryoshi or Killval type beats, or whatever type beats your heart desires. So yeah, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and I will see you guys next time.